How big a theme has addressability been here at the conference?
I think it's been the biggest theme. We were on a panel earlier this morning about addressability and the end of the cookie, and I was looking out from the stage, and you had people sitting on the floor, you had people standing in the back, every seat was taken. And I think that highlights how important this is. The Google Chrome announcement, 6 or 7 weeks ago now, has really rallied the industry, and we have to now address how do we move beyond the third-party cookie. Fortunately at LiveRamp, this is something we've been working on for 3 years. We've been building a new trusted ecosystem, working with our publisher partners, our DSP, our SSP partners, and our brands and agencies. So we're well prepared and ready to help the ecosystem transition.
So our industry, I never think, is at its best when it's trying to define and lay out simple terms. There are lots of interchangeable words being used. Addressability, targeting, relevance, identity even. Talk to us about how you see addressability fitting into the LiveRamp offer. What do you really mean when you say addressable?
So I boil it down to how does a marketer engage with a consumer? So really that's the experience you're driving, is marketers come to us and they say, I want to drive a meaningful consumer journey, and I want to do it in a privacy conscious way, and a way in which my consumer feels like I've engaged with them in a great positive manner. So for us, that's taking marketers' data and enabling them to use that data across many different channels. You can imagine connected TV, addressable TV, premium publisher integrations such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Google, mobile in-app integrations, and then also our digital display, which historically has been based on the third-party cookie, but is now transitioning to people-based IDs that are rooted in the trusted relationship between the consumer and the publisher.
So you mentioned a whole set of different platforms and devices there. One of the other themes of the conference has been the rise of the walled gardens. How difficult is it still to deliver the kind of addressability you're talking about across a very fragmented ecosystem of devices, platforms, publishers, and so on?
So that's where LiveRamp fits in, is we help connect all of those different platforms, 550 plus different platforms together with Identity Link. So taking people-based identity and linking that all together. And I think one of the benefits that we're going to see with the end of the third-party cookie is we're going to go from having hundreds of different cookie IDs to having common people-based IDs that are encrypted and securely moved through the ecosystem so that you have a secure, privacy-safe way to interact with the consumer, to drive a meaningful consumer journey, and do it much more efficiently than you could with a third-party cookie.
And another phrase I'd love to unpack. When you say ecosystem, what do you really mean? What are the relationships between the different parties participating in the ecosystem?
To me, the ecosystem is all of the companies in ad tech that you have to use to drive a campaign. So I think it's important to remember, if you want to reach an individual with an ad, it doesn't happen with just one platform. You have to have a DSP, an SSP, you may have a DMP involved, you have an ad server involved, you probably have a measurement platform involved. Maybe you started with some third-party data. You used an identity resolution provider. So here we've named, I think 8 different types of platforms, and you probably work with multiples of each of these. And all of these have to interoperate. And that's where we come together as the neutral identity provider, connecting them all together on people-based identity and making it easy to move data in a secure and efficient manner across those platforms.
Now, the other phrase that's been prevalent on the lips of many people here over the last couple of days is privacy. Privacy and consent, I should say, and there's a lot of talk about resetting the industry's relationships with consumers. Do you think the industry needs a reset and a rethink in the way that it manages trust?
100% yes. I look at the third-party cookie problem not as a technology problem, but as a trust problem. We as an industry have lost the trust of the consumer, and everyone needs to take responsibility for that. Publishers, marketers, and ad tech platforms. We need to talk about what the open internet is and how the open internet works. The open internet is built on the idea of a value exchange. I, as a consumer, can go to a website and I can access all of this amazing content for free. Never in the history of mankind have we had so much content for free. And I do that by sharing my identity and data. But we need to be clear to consumers what's happening. We need to explain the value exchange that's happening. We need to make it easy for them to opt out and control their data and have a better understanding. We know that consumers like personalized ads, and we know that when we share the value of the data with the consumers, that they'll understand that, and we're really excited about this opportunity to regain the trust of the consumer.
What new opportunities does identity open up for publishers, for sales houses, for media owners?
So from a publisher perspective, it's all about becoming more competitive with the walled gardens. Publishers make amazing content every day, but they've historically seen more and more money go into the walled gardens because the walled gardens have 100% addressability and identity. Well, now we're giving people-based identity to these publishers, and we're giving them an opportunity to be on parity with the walled gardens. From a marketer perspective, it's able to drive a better consumer journey. As a marketer, I don't want to buy cookies, I don't want to buy mobile device IDs, I want to buy people, I want to interact with consumers. I want frequency cap at the person level, measure at the person level. All of this becomes possible when you move beyond the third-party cookie to a people-based identity.
So, as you think about the 2020s and the years ahead, what are the big problems that you see that you think the industry still needs to solve? Where do you think companies in and around the ecosystem you operate need to be collectively pointing their efforts to try and fix things?
I see the 2020s not as problems, but as enormous opportunities. So we have an opportunity to build a much better ecosystem. We have an opportunity to go from an ecosystem of cookies, which are not transparent to the consumer. There's hundreds of them per each browser the consumer has. They're not interoperable. They're inefficient for moving data around. And we get to move beyond that. We get to move to people-based identity. We get to regain the trust of the consumer. We get to build a sustainable ecosystem rooted in trusted consumer relationships between publishers and between marketers. And we get to take the open internet and really level the playing field with the walled gardens. It's going to be an exciting few years. I think we have an opportunity to transform the ecosystem, and I'm really bullish on where the ad tech ecosystem is going.